Hi guys, it is Saturday, and for us, that usually means cooking, doesn't it, Jay?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know, maybe it's a sign of recent times, but I seem to be using my kitchen a lot, which is not a bad thing. I'm pretty sure Jason's happy about this current situation for sure. So I'm kind of, I'm not really sure why I'm sharing this recipe.
This is world's best chocolate chip cookie.
It really is. So of course I'm sharing this recipe with you guys. You're my friends. I love you. And I want you to make these cookies. This is a long time having come, huh?
Yes, like, very long R&D process on this one.
It took me a long time to get this recipe just exactly right. So this is my version of the very best chocolate chip cookies that you can make from scratch. No shortcuts here, but here's the thing. It's really, really simple. There's a whole bunch of ingredients, and it's going to feel like there's too many ingredients. There's not. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna get yourself organized, right?
Yep.
Organized. Mise en place. Okay, so what I've done is I'm gonna link the ingredients. I'm gonna, put out the recipe for you guys. So I'm not gonna go over the full recipe, but what I've done is I've separated my wet ingredients, so butter, sugar, eggs, any liquid like that, from my dry ingredients. In this case, it's flour and oats, and then some baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, that sort of thing. So these do have oats in them, so this is oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Now, I'll tell you, I've been making chocolate chip cookies for a real long time. I'm sure all of you have as well. I don't know, I guess maybe it's just something that's one of the very first things I ever learned how to bake. Yeah, I think these are better. So
just have a little bit better texture.
So chocolate chip cookies, but we've added oats, we've added molasses. I also added corn syrup. Corn syrup I'm using today is dark because I don't have any light corn syrup in my pantry, but I would prefer to use light corn syrup. So go ahead and do that if you can. And then a couple of different kinds of chocolate chips. So I sort of vary on what kind of chocolate chips I use depending on my mood. I always use milk chocolate chips in these cookies because they get really melty. And I really like to use chocolate chunks, which is very much like the cookies that we're talking about. But in this case, I have some dark chocolate chips. So I'm gonna add mostly milk chocolate, and then I'm gonna add some dark chocolate as well because I think that's gonna be amazing in these cookies. Okay, so we're all organized. This is what we're gonna do. I've got my butter over here, and then I'm gonna add my sugars. So I've got 1 1/3 cup of brown sugar and 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. And then we are going to cream these together, or in other words, we're gonna incorporate the sugars into the butter. So that's gonna take us not too much time. And quite honestly, this recipe is very forgiving. This does not need to be where the butter and the sugar are really, really well combined. You know, not like super, super creamed. Gosh, I hate that word so much. Couldn't we have come up with a better way to say that? So it's getting incorporated. The sugar is getting incorporated into that butter, which is what we're wanting. It's not taking me too long. So this is gonna go real fast and real simple. So I've got my sugar in there. While that's still sort of mixing, I'm gonna take my molasses. Now, here's the thing about molasses. And that's perfect. Okay, so here's the thing about molasses. It's really, really sticky. So if you take whatever vessel, I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon of molasses. So if you take your tablespoon and you give it a zhuzh, you're also gonna give it to your floor. But if you give it a little zhuzh like that, then when you pour this, just like that, and then you pour it out, it's gonna be way easier to get it out of that spoon. Look, pretty much clean, okay? So there's a little trick for you if you've never seen that. So we're gonna do a tablespoon of that, and then molasses is so messy, but it really gives these cookies this depth of flavor. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then the corn syrup. So again, I'm gonna do a little spray because it just helps those sticky things, and then it's gonna go all over the place. It's no big deal, we don't care. And then again, I would prefer, guys, light corn syrup, not the dark. It's gonna make the cookies darker than they need to be. And these cookies, since they have molasses, they're already a little darker than your average chocolate chip cookie. So that dark corn syrup is just gonna make it that much darker, and I don't think that's really very visually appealing necessarily for chocolate chip cookies, so I would prefer the light. And then we do need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, I'm gonna mix all of this in together, get the vanilla.
One of those things Mexicans found out.
Yeah. So we get this all incorporated together, which it is. I'm gonna turn it down to my stir speed, and I'm gonna put in 1 egg. Sorry, that's a lie. I have 2 eggs over here, so I'm guessing that means I'm supposed to put 2 in. Probably so, huh? 2 eggs. Mixy, mixy. All right, so it's just a really nice loose batter at this point. Jason's sitting over here talking to me, so he's not gonna point you in, but it's just a nice loose batter at this point, okay? So now we've got our dry ingredients. We have 3 cups of flour, and then we have a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a cup of oats, and I use the quick oats in this. I have that noted on my recipe, so since I noted it, it's obviously important. And then a teaspoon of cinnamon, all right? And I'm not gonna sift it, but I am just gonna kind of stir this in together. And then, as always, when we're incorporating into a batter like this, we're just gonna do this a little bit at a time. We don't wanna, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't wanna like shock it, right? We don't want the eggs and the butter to go, oh my gosh, what are you? I'm going to forewarn you, this is a very thick batter of a cookie. So there's gonna come a point where your mixer might not be able to handle it anymore, and you're gonna have to get in there with your hands. Mine seems to be doing okay.
It's starting to drag, but it's
All
still
right,
doing
so
fine.
it's just together, and I'm gonna stop it there. I'm going to push it
Sorry
down.
about that, guys. Just
Sorry,
trying
guys.
something new with the tripod.
So I'm gonna push it down.
Nice and graceful, huh?
Well, we're not Pioneer Women here. All right, so you can see, gosh, it's such a good cookie dough though, isn't it?
Yes.
Like it's just thick and it's fantastic. So I just mixed it together. I did not overmix that. And then I'm gonna come in with my, can you hand me a knife, honey, from right there? With my chocolate chips. Now you want 2 cups of chocolate chips total. So since I'm gonna use dark chocolate, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure out probably like 1 cup and 2/3 of the milk chocolate. And then about 1/3 of a cup of the dark chocolate, somewhere along those lines. Because I love dark chocolate in there. It's not Jason's absolute favorite, the dark chocolate isn't. But with these cookies, I think it's gonna be really, really good. But just a little bit. Just a little bit of that dark chocolate. Okay, and then we're gonna stick that in there. Let me get that off of our spoon. And then we're gonna give it one more little mix, and we just wanna get it together. Just get those chocolate chips. And we're good. All right. Oh, look at it. Doesn't it look magical? I don't know why it looks so magical, because it is magical. I'm telling you right now, y'all, I need you, if you're a chocolate chip cookie lover, I need you to make these cookies. And I need you to report back and tell me if these aren't some of the very best ones you've ever tried. I promise you they're gonna be. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this off of here. Look at this. This awesome cookie batter. If you want to, you can add some nuts to this. We have added walnuts or pecans to this in the past. I'm not gonna do that today, mostly because I've been in the kitchen so much, I'm almost out of chopped nuts and stuff. I'm out of not baking powder, brown sugar. It's just all these sweet treats I've been making Jason, I'm running out of pantry staples. So no chopped nuts in this today. You can add them if you want. I'd maybe put like a half a cup or so of nuts or whatever you want. That's delicious in these as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll these into balls and get them on my cookie sheet. And I don't think I'm going to chill the first batch. I think I'm gonna put the first batch right into the oven and then I'm gonna chill the other ones. So 10 minutes on 340 degrees and they're gonna be nice and golden brown. Take them out, cool them, and eat them. I'm gonna take a little tiny bite. So here's the deal, guys. Look at it. Like they kind of fall apart a little bit, but they're chewy. Oh, they're chocolatey. They're so delicious. This recipe is very special to us. If I ever write a cookbook, this one will definitely be in the cookbook. From our house to yours, my very best chocolate chip cookies. I hope you love them.